Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo is also asking the state for the authority to enforce a new stay-home order. She released some new numbers showing Hispanics are disproportionately impacted by this virus. Adam Bennett shows us the steps the county is taking to bring down the numbers.
Both Houston and Harris County have fixed COVID-19 testing sites like this one and also mobile ones that they can send into communities that are in need. They also say they're working with community partners and publishing materials in several different languages to try to teach people how to prevent the spread. Today, Harris County's public health authority said the percentage of people testing positive for COVID-19, hospitalizations, and ICU stays are all rising. Judge Hidalgo said the percentage of COVID patients in ICU has jumped from 15% in late May to 48% today. She says Hispanics have been making up more than half, or as high as 2/3 of the COVID-19 hospitalizations since mid-May in the unincorporated parts of Harris County. The Hispanic community makes up 44% of Harris County's population.
We know that some of those factors may be related to uninsurance rates. They may be related to many in our Hispanic community are working frontline jobs, and the economics of what's occurring with this pandemic, as well as multifamily households, and certainly we are concerned about fear and stigma in our community.
Both Dr. Shaw and Judge Hidalgo say staying home is the key to dropping this curve. And Judge Hidalgo also reminded people that Harris County's COVID-19 testing is free, and she says they won't be asking whether you have insurance or about your immigration status. Back to you.